So it's good that the upload time forced me to take that break. I'm the person that needs perspective. I rush, rush, rush. It forces me time for perspective. There's a few things I was missing. First thing, music. Today on tap would be The Best of Heart, one of the greatest bands of all time. Next would be my District 12 bracelet to identify myself as one of the lowest of the low, but still able to cause a revolution if need be. Then I noticed that a painting that's still drying, in the process of drying, was getting pushed out of the way by this one, so I replaced it with an elephant. We have tons of elephants in our house. I'll turn this down a little bit. We have tons of elephants in our house, thanks to my wife. She loves elephants, and it turns out that's the thing we shared when we met. I love elephants too. They are the only animal we know of. I think apes might be able to, but beyond that, they're the only ones that cry like humans. They're the only ones that cry from things that make you sad. If another elephant dies, they cry. If a baby dies, they cry. They all make the journey back to die in the same place so that they're buried together. Elephants are an amazing animal that a lot of people don't think about in that way. Let's see, where am I? Okay, so back to the painting and the story and everything. In the retrospect of my break, what I noticed and I had said was that the mountain is in the wrong place. Well, there's a few things wrong with that, and we're going to fix that right now. The first one being that the mountain was not in the wrong place. The problem was that there was a mountain there at all. The point of the bridge we have to build right now is that there's no damn mountain. No more mountains. Just because it looks like a mountain doesn't mean it's a mountain. You have a new open brain that can make it whatever you want it to be. So if just because it looks like a mountain, imagine it to be something else, and it will be. So, before there was mountains, before any ground can ever be built, even by God, the sky had to come first. And so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to do the sky. And when I paint, I do actually think about these things, and I think about this purpose. I didn't used to. Before I got hurt, I had the ability to paint. I had the ability to step into myself, into a deep part of myself, and I thought that I had reached the deepest part of my soul. And I honestly could not have been further from the truth. I was not touching any part of anything in me. So that's those times where, as hard as it is, where I say maybe I'm thankful for the brain injury. It allows me to the flood that happens. Well, the flood happens because the filters are gone. That's the flood. The reason there's all this debris in the flood is because all the filters have been taken away from you. Well, the filters don't just allow crap to go through. The filters will also allow beautiful things to go through. And the only one who has the choice to pick them up is you. And that's what you use to build a bridge. And so, that's what I'm using to build my bridge. I am poor as hell. It is what it is. And I used to be really angry at that. Like something was somehow owed to me. There's not a damn thing owed to me. There's 7 billion people. There's 14 billion that have existed at least. What is owed to us is the respect that we earn. That is what's owed to us. It's up to us to earn it, though. And it took a man almost killing me for me to realize that, but that's okay. I'm okay with that now. I'm even okay with the hard parts of it, the parts that suck. The parts of it that suck most, which some people understand. I mean, everybody understands, but it's not a slight to the people that don't. But if you've had a child, that relationship has been taken away from me. My ability to be the father that I was, which even I will say was pretty good. I was a pretty good dad. You know, that was taken away from me. So when I first woke up from the coma and was out of the dazed state, all the pieces around me were the shattered, bloody, oil-covered pieces. That's all I saw. There were no rose petals to be seen anywhere. There was no blue in the sky. It was getting darker. And I don't know what it was that caused me to start making the journey that I did. It was not a conscious thing. That much I'm 100% completely sure of. It was not a conscious decision to quit drinking. It wasn't a conscious decision to start drinking and get myself in a position to get murdered. But life gives you what it gives you. Life was created by chance. What happened to me, what happened to all of us, what happens to all of us in any way, shape, or form ultimately comes down to chance. And you can spend eternity being angry at chance for not giving you the opportunity that it gave so many others. Because sometimes it seems like chance just really shines down brightly, not just on others, but those that deserve it the least. And it is so easy to get angry at that because of how frustrated you are with what's not right with your life. I did it. But somewhere along the line, I realized I had a providence. It's not there yet. You can see, it's not there yet, but I'm going to make it. And I'm also going to build a bridge. It's tattered, it's falling apart, but I'm going to rebuild it because I know now that a bridge can be there. And so I'm going to go back into talking about my beautiful place, my wonderful place. Luckily I can do stuff like this, like drop down on my knees. Being 6'4" allows you the opportunity to have many camera angles despite your limited resources. But so my favorite happy place, we would get there, and then one time I got the guest room, which the guest room was beautiful. It was cedar, pine, redwood, whatever it was, and French doors that outlooked to the ocean, and the cotton on the bed. It was always clean, but it had this smell. The smell that you always associate with grandma. That's what it was. And mixed with the sea air and the redwood air and all that stuff. Well, so then me, at least. I don't know how it was for the other people in my family. But for me, where are the brushes I'm looking for? There they are. For the people in my family, I don't know. But for me, then you have to break out of the spell. And then you got to go back down to real life, which is human beings downstairs. And so you do that for a spell, and you do all the same pleasantries, looking at the house. I mean, there's a personal part inside of it where you're looking at all the changes, all the things you remember, all all the smells, you remember all the touches, you remember all the things you wish were still there but were gone now, but it's not yours, so you don't get to change it. You also don't get a say in how it's changed, or whether or not, and sometimes you don't get a say into whether or not you like it. That's not just when you walk into somebody's house. These things that we say about life, about anything, can be applied to anything. Obviously I have a penchant for analogies. It's how I see things, but I do that because it helps me understand the world. And so, part of the way I understand the world also, I realized, is how I interpret the world, which is overtly complicated, which has made the majority of the relationships, interpersonal relationships in my life, very difficult. And very complicated many times by my own doing. Because I didn't know how to harness what it was that I had yet. And I still don't. I'm not Yoda right now at all. I'm just, I'm at least Luke sitting down and talking to Yoda now. Let's put it there. So I'm listening now. And I'm still frantic and I'm still crazy. And so I channel it into this. So when I would do the pleasantries and go back down and then admire all the different changes, then it was time to explore the outside, which would be what you would call the front lawn. And it was 2 trees, one on the, kind of bushes on the left, and then a pair of trees in the middle, and then one on the right. And this is where the sun set. It faced west out to the ocean, so the sun set there. So you always had this perfect silhouette of these trees, and they dropped down just slightly below the cliff. And then right next to the cliff was this meek, nothing ornate, nothing cushy to keep you super comfortable, nothing like that. I mean, my grandparents had that. They had a jacuzzi and everything outside, so that, the comforts of 21st century life could be had. But this certain spot, it didn't have that. It was just simply a bench, a regular old bench. And that was where I wanted to go first. That was always the place I wanted to go first, because you saw the horizon. You saw the edge of the earth, or at least what light bouncing to your eyes told you was the edge of the earth. And I remember as a kid I used to watch the ships that were on the horizon. And I knew, because I was into science, I knew exactly, how scientifically the curvature of the earth worked and everything. But still, I knew the stories of how people used to think the earth was flat. And I used to wonder, thinking to myself, even when I was like 8 years old, oh my God, uh-oh. I mean, it was a joke, but thinking, uh-oh, what if they were right? What if Columbus was wrong? Which, let's all admit, Columbus was very wrong. And I would dream, are they just falling off? Every time they disappear past the horizon, they're just falling off. Okay, looks like I'm coming up on my time limit, so part 2 is over. I will go meditate, and we'll see part 3.